All right. I was doing the model thing. Yeah. So we're here today for another episode of Lunch Therapy. So glad to be here today. Another day of Lunch Therapy. This is a time where we just take a little break, a little half-hour break from the rest of the world to breathe. And just forget about the troubles and all the bad news. Just enjoy. Just have a good time. I'm turning off my phone. I did a little breathing exercise, a little Wim Hof breathing exercise before the show today. I was talking about it yesterday. I'm just taking in a lot of air. It feels good. It feels good. Like he says, get high on your own supply. Today I'm not going to worry about the internet and whether, it's choppy or any of that stuff. We're not talking about that. We're just going to move on. And if things don't get out there properly, then, I'll upload it later in pristine format. There's a lot to talk about today because today is a big day for lunch therapy, essentially. It's a fine day. I don't see anybody making any comments yet, but you can make comments in the chat room. If you can see this on Facebook, you can see it on Twitch. I want to send a shout out to Harriet Schock, who saw the show yesterday. She helped me write a song in her songwriting class. She's a fantastic singer-songwriter, and she is also a great teacher. So if you want to go on over to Harriet Schock's class here in Los Angeles, is worth its weight in gold. I have a tip jar today. I mean, it's not really a tip jar. It's just if you want to Venmo me, I would love it. It'd be great. Venmo at Myth Club. Let's get this show on the road. So one of the things I want to talk about today is how in my life I have sometimes let other people define me. And you take your cues. Sometimes you take your cues from other people of how you should be. When I was a little kid, I was I gotta turn off these things, man. These things are attacking me. Yeah, so when I was a little kid, I was in elementary school, and I was in kindergarten, and they had a typewriter, and if you could type the alphabet, you could get a cracker. Just all you had to do was type out the alphabet on the typewriter, you get a cracker. And I ate a lot of crackers. I was a little fat kid. And so, man, I was always cranking out the alphabet. It's like my cat. My cat, I put a stool next to me, when I'm sitting at the computer, and I wanted him to sit up there, and I give him a treat every time he sits up there. So they would give me a cracker every time I did the alphabet. And I guess they decided that I was some kind of genius or something. So they moved me to the next grade, to first grade. And so when I got to first grade, then all of a sudden I was not a genius. They were spelling words like elephant. And I had no idea how to spell elephant. So I felt sort of, behind the times. And when I got to fourth grade, they decided that they were going to divide the classes into the good students, the medium students, and the bad students. They just were going to divide the class. And so they divided it. So what they did is, because I was ahead of myself, they put me in the bad class because they figured I was going to be behind because, yeah, the chat room says Spectrum is giving me the fist today. Yeah, it's horrible. I will upload this later, so no worries. So they put me in the bad class, and I realized something there in the 5th grade. I think it was the 5th grade. I realized that public perceptions of you can be warped and can give you a definition of yourself, especially at that early age, that is maybe not correct. So one minute I was like ahead of myself, and the next minute I was like in the, what they would, I mean, they wouldn't call it the dumb class, but they were the slow class. So I found that everything that I did was interpreted as being slow. So like I wrote a paper on bees, and it was supposed to be a page long, and on the second page I kept going. I just turned it over, kept going. And then they got mad at me because I didn't follow the rules, because I was not following the rules. And so the next time I wrote an entire page, and then on the back I wrote the end really big. And they thought I was trying to make it like I don't know, I was trying to make it longer. That's what they decided, that I was just being a jerk and trying to make it look like it was a longer paper. So now I'm starting to get a little like weird, like what, did I suddenly, become the bad kid? Well, even though, I was like the good kid, and all of a sudden I became the bad kid. So I found this stick on the playground. It was just it was a dowel, like a big round dowel. And I brought it inside because it was so cool. I figured I could use this for something. And so I brought that dowel in, and I put it in my desk. And they thought, because I had that stick, the teacher, that I was a bully. So now all of a sudden, I was a bully. So then everything that I did after that was interpreted in a strange way because I was in that class. And I came home with a report card that had like a C and a D and things I had never seen on my report card before. I mean, I was pretty much an A student, B student up until that point. In fact, I was ahead of the grade. But now all of a sudden I was a C student, even a D student. And it just goes to show you, like, it was all perception, right? So luckily, my mom saved me. Luckily, I had a mom like I had, because I would have just gone with their belief of me, and probably just kept racing to the bottom, because of my self-esteem. My self-esteem was just blown. So my mom went to the school, being a great mom. She went there and she said, what is this? Shows them the report card. And they were like, oh, you got some C's. That's pretty good. You didn't fail. And my mom was like, put him in the smart class. Not even in the middle class, in the smart class. Put him in the smart class, see how it goes. So they put me in the smart class. And all of a sudden, everything that I did was creative. If I wrote my name down the side of the page, I was being creative. If I had a stick, they were like, oh, you can make something fun out of that. You could lead the band with it. And all my grades were A's and B's. Continually after that. My mom just picked me up out of that thing. I just think about all the kids that were just didn't have a mom like me. And they were just railroaded into this belief of themselves. I'm going to do another segment sometime in the future about things that teachers actually said to us. I was talking to my friend Matt Wright, and he was talking about that. We were going over things that our teachers said to us when we were growing up. And, there was a lot of really weird stuff that they said. And if you to take that stuff in, you could end up, I don't know. Just as an example, we had a teacher that said if he were to commit suicide, he would lay on a waterbed and take psychedelic drugs and overdose or something. We were just like, what is your problem? And some of the kids were like, didn't realize, didn't have the context to be like, well, maybe he's right. I don't know. So it's crazy. So later on in school, when I was in, high school, I was on the football team. And when I joined the football team, some of my friends were like, what are you doing joining the football team? Because I was, sort of classified in a particular area. I wasn't like, cool jock guy. They always kind of try and put you in these little holes. And you can't do that. You can't allow people to do that. You can't allow Spectrum to do that. You can't allow Spectrum to make your choppy internet and give yourself a problem. You just can't, even if Spectrum is saying, hey, this guy, he's got lousy internet. I have to redefine that. So you're always having to redefine yourself in life, continually, because you keep coming into new places. That's why kids who moved around a lot, they're actually pretty socially skilled, let's say, because they can come into an area and just establish themselves, and they know how to reinvent themselves. Like, maybe this time I'm going to be like this, maybe that time I'm going to be like that, and see how it goes. And this is what you have to do in life. You have to constantly kind of redefine yourself for other people. So I'm in high school, and I was on the football team, and our football team was doing pretty well, and I got into a class. My teacher was also a football coach. And so I was in there, psychology. I was a lineman, too. I didn't think a lineman is, very smart, because I was a, big guy on the line. I just kind of push people around. So in our first test in that class, it was an essay test, and I took the test and I handed it in, and when I got it back, I got a C. And I was like, how did I get a C? And I, probably was going to accept it, but then my friend said, no, you got to go up there and talk to them. And I went up there and I talked to the teacher, and I was like, you give me a C? And he was like, yeah, pretty good. Like, he thought that would make me happy to get a C, because I was essentially a hog, is what they call us. They called us hogs. The guys on the line, we were hogs. So I was a hog. So a C was like a gift. And I told him, hey, look, I've never gotten a C since 4th grade, 5th grade. And could you just take another look at it? So then he took another look at it, and I guess, hopefully, he read it this time. And so everything after that, I got A's and B's. It just goes to show you it doesn't really matter. Some of the smartest guys in my class in high school got the worst grades because they were seen as sort of, either trouble or... So Neil Phillips says, Twitch is working. Public perceptions, baby. Public perceptions. Yeah, we're talking about public perceptions here. Because, the internet is just wonking out, dude. wonking out. So yeah, so continually in life, though, I and I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I find that sometimes I find myself in a place where I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? I was walking down this road and I had this idea of myself, and then all of a sudden, everybody else is like seeing me in a different way. And then I start to see myself in that way. And then I suddenly go, who am I? Who am I? So, and a lot of that has to do with your training of other people as well. I had a kind of hard period in my life where I was an actor, and I went to drama school, and I went to college like twice. I was Bugs Bunny at Magic Mountain. And then I went on to even more success. I played Romeo at a Shakespeare festival. But then I came in. All right, Cineville's here. Cineville is my buddy in the chat room in Twitch. So thanks for being here, Cineville. C Neville 92. Yeah, so I got to this point. I get distracted by the chat room, but I think it's good because I love the interaction, because we're not having any interaction, especially because the internet is so wild. And if anybody can give me the Twitch URL, I'm going to put it on the screen just so other people, in case that's working. So yeah, I had this dark period in my life where I was like working as a computer tech, which I had always worked for law firms and done computer stuff. But it was always kind of like a means to support my creative endeavors and being an actor and being a comedian. And at some point, I decided I was going to leave the law firm and go out on my own and be a computer tech. And that way I'd have all this free time and a free schedule to pursue my other dreams. But that kind of backfired on me. And it backfired because when you go out on your own and you're an entrepreneur, your clients are usually people you know. Your first clients are always people you know. And so everybody I knew a lot of the people I knew were in the entertainment industry, or they were people that worked in the entertainment industry. And so as soon as I started fixing their computers, they just knew me as the computer guy. And I always was not establishing myself as a performer, as an artist, as an actor, any of these things, because I was working as a computer guy all the time. And I became very useful as a computer guy. So it got to the point where everybody just knew me as a computer guy. They didn't even know that I ever acted at all, or ever was a comedian or anything. They just, and I didn't let them know. That's the thing. I didn't let them know because I was like trying to keep it separate, but there was no separation at all. Like at work now, I work at the law firm, and I don't, somebody calls, I don't start doing my comedy or doing some weird accent or something. Well, sometimes. But I don't really talk about that stuff because I'm doing that job. And it compartmentalizes it so that I can go off in my life and other people can know me in a different way. But when I had combined it into one thing, it kind of messed me up, and it kind of redefined me, so that when I would see people, they would give me their phone, or they'd tell me I'd be like, hey, how's it going? And then they'd just tell me about all their computer problems. And so it was difficult. It was difficult. But you can't let these things redefine you. And, tomorrow or another day when the internet is better, I'm going to investigate some of my heroes in this area. Because there are people out there that don't allow people to define them. And by the same token, they don't train other people to define them in a certain way. It's mainly like defining yourself. You got to keep putting it out there, putting it out there. Even if your internet is not working, you can't let that get you down. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to get it fixed. You got to do something. I see that Vernice here, Vernice Clear is here. She's a fantastic acting coach. My coach. She's here. I'm glad to see her. I'm sure it's choppy. You know, what can I do? I'm going to post a live one later on. So far, this is, you know, that's the other thing. This is stand-up comedy. But today, for some reason, it's like a TED Talk or something like that. But, you know, I think it's worthwhile. I think it's worthwhile saying these things because we're all, you know, life is kind of redefined right now for us. We don't know where things are going to go. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how things are changing, how things are performing. But we have to roll with it. We have to roll with it and completely always redefine ourselves as the world is being redefined. And who redefines the world? Us. Anything that's going on in the world is defined by perceptions and our care for the world, and whether we care, and whether we're paying attention, and whether we're actually existing here in this moment, observing what is happening. So the main point is pay attention to what you're putting out there, pay attention to how you're being perceived, but define yourself. And if people are perceiving you in a weird way, then you just got to keep being you. Being you. So I was talking the other day about Wacky Pack stickers and how I had covered my bicycle with Wacky Pack stickers when I was a kid. I had a pink bicycle. It was a Schwinn Stingray bike, and I had covered them with Wacky Pack stickers, and I was trying to describe what Wacky Pack stickers were. So I brought a couple to look at. This is one, a classic Wacky Pack. It's called Wheaties. It's a riff on Wheaties. It's like a visual parody of products. I got this one from the site Flashback. That's Flashback. I got a couple more from them. It was just kind of a whim that I wanted to show you guys these things. Tide detergent. Your clothes will be fit to be tied, which I love that. And then, of course, Skippy peanut butter. And there's little details on here. You can just look at them. That's the thing that we did. We just kind of looked at them really closely. Because when you're a kid, you look at things a little closer. You don't just look at it and go, oh, I've seen that before. Oh, I've seen that. There's a cow. Seen it. No, you look at a cow and you go, it's like every cow you look at is like the first cow that you ever looked at. And you look at the color of the cow, you look at the markings, you look at how big it is, how small it is, you really get into things when you're a kid. And also when you're a kid, you're closer to the ground. You're closer to the ground, so you see stuff that no one else is seeing. And you're outside, tromping around. Hopefully you're outside, just tromping around, looking for stuff, and you find, the weirdest things. Like starfish. I mean, I don't see starfish anymore. You know what I really don't see anymore? Sand dollars. Has anybody seen a sand dollar out there? I'm going to take a look at the chat room because I know it's, these people are important to me. Yeah, gender bias. I don't know. You see, the problem is I don't see the chats for a long time, so I could say something that like freaks somebody out or somebody's got a comment on, and I see it later. And I'll go back and I don't want to lose my focus. Right? What is my focus right now? We only have 5 more minutes. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do because I think we're doing okay at streaming now. I'm going to do an interview with myself, and it's just a little thing that I call interview with me. When I was a teenager, I always had the dream of doing some busking. I didn't really know that term, busking. That's busking, kind of it's a new term to me. But I just, I felt the need to go out and perform on the streets for the people.
Out there direct?
Yeah, the only experience really I'd had with it was the guys that play the guitar.
Right,
and they have like a little cup.
Like a hat.
Or a hat. Traditionally a hat.
Or even like sometimes a guitar case.
Sometimes a coffee.
Right.
Coffee tin.
Coffee can.
Coffee can.
Yeah.
Nuts and
nuts
and chock full of nuts.
Chock full of nuts.
Chock full of nuts.
My father-in-law's favorite.
Yeah, so
classic.
That's what I'm kind of was used to. And so in Seattle, they had a place called the Pike Place Market where there were some people.
The origin of Starbucks.
The very first Starbucks was there, and at that time there was only one Starbucks.
Yes.
Only one Starbucks, and that was in Pike Place Market. And I'd go down there with my mom, and there would always be a performer there with just a guitar and a chock full of nuts can. How many people out here are married? Belting it out.
Yeah.
And I admired that.
Hey, where are you guys from?
Somebody to be able to just go out there.
Where are you all from?
An instrument. And
are you guys from Venice?
And just move people. People, and you kind of expect just to be shopping at the market.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're moved.
Yeah.
One way or another. Happy, moved to joy, moved to contemplation, moved to tears sometimes. To crying. So my friend and I went down to Pike Place Market. We got ourselves a license.
Wow, you got a license?
A license.
That's, to me, that goes against the whole grain a little bit of it, but, I guess you do have to get a license if you want.
Well, otherwise I think they just tell you move along. Move along, pal.
Right.
And it's not like there's an audition or anything.
Traveling like from Europe and you're like in Pike Market?
It's a good question. I don't even know if they allow foreigners to get a license.
All right, not to interrupt you too much, so you got a license.
So we went and got a license.
Yeah.
We didn't really know. We knew some Beatles songs, maybe. Right. We practiced at my friend's house.
Really?
And then it came time to do it. And my mom said to me, Joel, I don't want my son out there being a hobo.
This is not the son I envisioned for
myself.
myself.
This is not the son. I don't want my friends to be down there at Pike Place Market getting their Starbucks coffee, and there's my son there being a hobo.
Moms, all you moms out there, I completely understand.
It's nothing against moms. Moms are, they want to protect you from looking like a I don't even know. I don't think that's a PC word anymore, but that was what she said at the time. Hobo.
It's either hobo or bum. I mean,
a bum
is, I think, less PC than
looking like a bum.
Right.
I don't want my son out there looking like a bum.
Right.
She might have even said bum. But it really stuck in my head. And, you listen to your parents sometimes, especially at that age. I was young teens. Yeah. And I thought, wow, this must be a bad thing. Yeah. I'd be kind of disgracing the family, going out there looking like a hobo.
Right.
And so it just never happened. It never happened. We never went out there. Never did it.
Didn't do it?
No.
So that was, you got the license? You
got the license. Got the actual license.
The 1 yard line, but mom...
No, she didn't go, you can't do it. She just was like,
the words weren't up to...
It's kind of disappointing to have a son just right out of the gate.
Right.
Just go right to bumdom.
To bumdom.
Straight to bumdom.
Yeah, that's not a place moms want you to be, so you didn't do it. Okay.
So I didn't do it. My friend, he never did it either, I don't think.
Right.
we both just kind of canned the whole idea. Finally, I decided, you know what? Comedy.
Comedy.
Because I've been doing comedy for, like I said, for a number of years now, and I really love doing it. I do it in the clubs.
You really don't.
You know, at the
Where you would
comedy store, or
generally think of where you go to see comedy.
where you go to see comedy, right?
Are married.
But then I put the two together. I'm like, what if you did comedy busking?
There it is. Comedy busking. Coming soon to nowhere. I don't know. Coming soon to a side street near you whenever people congregate again. I don't know. But anyway, I run out of time. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging with me through the waves of the spectrum. If anybody knows Spectrum CEO, just, maybe you want to let them know that we're very upset. You know who's really upset? Bernadette is super upset. I just hit my microphone. I'm not as skilled as Bernadette. Anyway, thanks for joining me for lunch therapy, and I'll see you tomorrow.